Welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast. Here is Munir Lazouzi from easymedicaldevice.com. And today we'll talk about the AI Act. So there are a lot of AI episodes actually within the podcast. So today we'll talk about the challenges that will be happening within the AI Act. And for that, I have with me Fabien Roa from Hogan Lovers. So Fabien, welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast.
Thank you, Monia. Very, very good to be here with you.
Great. Happy for you to be here. And thank you again for coming to explain to us about those challenges that we have with the AI Act. But first, can you maybe introduce yourself and then also your company?
Sure. So my name is Fabien. I'm working for Hogan Lovells, an international law firm with 45, offices around the globe. I'm based in Brussels and I'm helped for marketing their product in Europe. So this all the issues around pre-market, marketing authorization, CE marking, and post-market questions, I can address. I'm also helping with transactions, privacy consideration. So I'm like a consultant, being a lawyer, and I'm also a quality management system auditor for ISO 13485 and for MDSAP.
Great. So you have a lot of knowledge then in also medical devices, which is, I hope, helping a lot about this topic of today. So can we just maybe, as an introduction for this topic, remind to people what is AI Act? We have made a previous episode with Eric Volbrecht where we have talked about AI Act as it was already announced in general. So AI Act was, if I can say, existing, but it's not officially published. So can we again explain AI Act and mainly this timeline? When will this be official, if I can say?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So the AI Act has been, adopted, by the Parliament and the Council. The Parliament voted on the AI Act in March, and the Council finally also adopted, the AI Act on the 21st of May. So now what we are waiting is simply the publication of the AI Act in the official journal of the European Union, and there are some delays, we understand, and its publication is currently scheduled for mid-July.
Okay.
And what is important to also consider is that application of the AI Act will not be immediate. It will only enter into force, 20 days after its publication.
Okay. So as soon as it is published, you say it's really enter into force 20 days after. So does it mean that 20 days after everybody should follow what is written on the AI Act, or there is a transition like the MDR, we said 3 years to adopt it or to implement it?
Yeah, there are some transition period, let's say, so 6 months, after the entry into force of the AI Act, the first rules, will start to apply. It relates to prohibited, AI practices. So it's very important, even for manufacturer to look at the AI Act now. And for, I think, most of the rules for medical device software regulated under the AI Act, it will be 3 years after the entry into force of the AI Act. I'm not telling you, however, Monia, that manufacturers should wait. As we will discuss in this episode, I think there is a need, to look at this act now.
So when we say 3 years, it means that it's 3 years to understand, modify the practices of the company, maybe change some or provide some evidences that your device is working correctly, etc., or not in compliance with the AI Act. So it can take it can take time for manufacturers to gather and create all those evidences. So it's why you should not wait 3 years like we have waited for the EU MDR after the publication to then start to work on that.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. The CE marking of medical device software or hardware, including, AI system in 3 years time, from the entry into force of the AI Act, we'll have to take into consideration the AI Act requirements. So it means a notified body will have to apply the AI Act requirements to the conformity assessment. And as you just say, it's if the test is in 3 years, it means, manufacturers must start collecting data and change their technical documentation today, to be ready on time.
Exactly, yeah. So 3 years is also a long time due to the topic software. Software, I mean, if we talk, for example, about artificial intelligence, we started last year to have some kind of a boom of it. And this year, where everybody starts to use it. So in 3 years, maybe it will be, if I can say, common, I think, for people. So it's also something that's on the topic of software, which is not maybe hardware, on the topic of software. This can be a long lead time, if I can say, for software manufacturers. They will have maybe to have a third generation of AI or third generation of software before they arrive to the implementation of the AI. But there are, as you've said, 6 months after, some rules to implement. So it's not like 3 years. It's really, there are some phases also for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's again, it's very important to look at this act now because manufacturers which will start, only in 2 years from now will be probably too late, to be ready on time.
Great. So you said also, I mean, in terms of the scope of the AI Act, we talked about software and hardware. So here, yeah, our hardware that contains an artificial intelligence, like maybe a machine or a MRI machine that maybe contains a software for MRI or with artificial intelligence, or some hardware devices are really also in the scope. It's not only a software; it's really even software inside the medical device.
Unearth the pulse of the medtech world with MedTech Conf, a dynamic platform featuring global events on medical devices, biologicals, IVD, and pharmaceuticals. Stay informed, stay ahead, connect, share, and elevate your knowledge. Become an official sponsor. Make your event shine on the map. MedTech Conf, your key to the medtech universe. Remember, the future is now, and it's at your fingertips with MedTech Conf.
You're right. Yeah, absolutely. If the hardware is incorporating AI system, then this hardware may fall within the scope of the AI Act. Actually, there are some conditions, we can summarize,
Yeah.
So first one is the AI, and I'm using the verbiage of the AI Act. The AI is used as a safety component of the AI system, or the AI system is itself a product. That's the first condition. So AI used as a safety component, or the AI system is itself a product. Plus, it's covered by the MDR IVDR, and it is subject, this is an additional condition, it is subject to a third-party assessment. So it means, it's subject to a conformity assessment involving a notified body, for example. If you meet, these three cumulative conditions, you will be considered as an high-risk AI medical device system. And it means, the manufacturer of this high-risk AI system will have to comply with the MDR IVDR plus the AI Act.
Again, also another precision. AI Act has the scope of AI Act is not only on medical devices, it's everything that contains an artificial intelligence. So here we talk about specifically medical devices because we are on the medical device field. But if you have even a software as a medical device that acts without artificial intelligence, but inside there is a component of artificial intelligence for something else, nothing about medical, it still has to follow AI Act.
Yeah, it depending, on the purpose of the AI Act, there will be a specific requirements. Sometimes it's just transparency, sometimes it's just registration. But yeah, the AI Act is what we call, industry agnostic. So it's applicable to the medical device industry, to healthcare in general, to financial services, consumer products. It has a wide range of application.
Okay, yeah, just to be precise, because that people don't think that AI Act is only for medical devices. No, it's really for everything. So we talked about some challenges related to the AI Act. As you said, there are things that people have also to follow now or to check now. So can we summarize maybe a few challenges that you have identified that maybe people have to be aware first and then act upon those challenges?
Sure, yeah. So it's mainly around 2 or 3 ideas, in my perspective. The first challenge, is the manufacturer challenge.
Okay.
Like for the MDR or IVDR, a manufacturer should not wait, to start implementing the AI Act in their quality management system, in their technical documentation. I think that's really the main challenge. Why I'm saying that? Because we need to learn, from the MDR and IVDR. We see that there have been a lot of issues. Manufacturers are not the one to be blamed, the most, but some manufacturers have been also late, transitioning to the MDR and IVDR. Here, we have another challenge with the AI Act, and we need manufacturers to start, working very quickly. Why? Because, again, in 3 years' time, when the conformity assessment will take place and the notified body will review the validation data, for example, for the AI software, we'll have access to the data set that was used, today, to build up, the AI system, to train it, to validate it. The notified body will check the quality of that data set. And if the quality is not the one expected according to the AI Act requirements, it means that the manufacturer will face non-conformities at the time of the conformity assessment. So it could have an impact on the process because it will delay basically, the conformity assessment.
So just to be to recap a bit, summarize a bit. So we have the AI Act that will be published in 3 years. They have to implement that, but in 3 years maybe they will be using the AI on data sets that were already non-conform or not good since the beginning. So when they will arrive 3 years later, they say, oh, I'm already using that since 3 years. They can be in non-conformity because the initial data set was not correct.
Yeah. Today they pick up a data set, let's say it's not meeting, the data governance requirements of the AI Act. It means, they will train and validate their AI system based on data which, let's say, could have been manipulated, which could not reflect, the requirements of the AI Act. So the notified body will check that, in 3 years' time. And they may say, oh, we have an issue with the original data set, and therefore we cannot accept, the AI system as it is because it was not properly validated. So you need to come back to us with good validation data.
So does it mean also that they have the power at that moment to stop the use of your, software and say you have to put it on hold or recall it or this kind of thing?
Well, so what I was talking about is just, the pre-market phase. So it was under the circumstance the AI system is not yet on the market.
Okay.
But I think you are raising a good question. I don't think the notified body will have the power. Let's say the AI system is already in use in a medical, as part of a medical device software CE mark. The notified body will not have, I think, the power to request the manufacturer to recall, the software when doing the assessment. Why? Because currently the AI Act requirements are not applicable.
So it's a placing on the market principle. It's placed on the market correctly, if I can say, because AI Act was not there. So at the moment it was placed on the market, everything was okay or it's compliant. But in 3 years it's not. But it means that during that time it was already correct. So it's not, you cannot remove that. But if you change something in 3 years, you have then to apply the AI Act for your software, I suppose.
Absolutely, yeah. If you change, so if you have a CE mark software using AI today, you need to comply with the MDR. And the first thing is that the MDR is already, putting high standard, on the CE marking, of this type of product. There will be additional requirements to be met by the AI Act, but it's only, when the AI Act will be applicable to this AI system as medical device. Yeah, it's a stage approach. So if you have an AI CE mark under the MDR today, and once the AI Act requirements for medical device software using AI are applicable in 3 years' time, if you do a substantial change or a significant change to your software, you will be required to apply the requirements of the AI Act.
Hey, just a second. Do you need a EU, Swiss or UK representative? Then choose Easy Medical Device. We can represent you and also become your importer. Contact us at eo@easymedicaldevice.com. And yeah, and this can be the part where or you have some delay or you have maybe to provide more testing and you cannot do that. So will there be maybe just thinking about that now while you were talking. So will there be like the MDR, like this MDCG guidance or a type of MDCG guidance for the AI Act on what is a significant change?
Well, we hope there will be guidance. I think it's one of the challenges, faced by manufacturer currently. Our message is you need to start preparing, but we have a lot of uncertainties, on how, the process, will take place, how notified bodies, will assess, this AI system. There are guidance documents that must be adopted by the Commission. For example, by Q4 2025, the Commission is supposed to have published guidelines on practical implementation for the classification rules of high-risk AI system. It's only 18 months after the entry into force of the AI Act. And so after 12 months after publication or the forcing publication of these guidelines, the medical device industry will be supposed to be fully compliant with the AI Act. And so we can see, Monia, that there is something wrong already, which is guidances, are coming too late in the process. If we want, manufacturer to start preparing now, I think the guidance document should also be available today,
I mean, will it be the same story as what happened with the MDR? We have the MDR that is published, and then a lot of uncertainty also were on the MDR, and then guidances start to be poured, if I can say, to everybody to say, you have to do it on that way, on that way, on that way, on that way, etc. So will it be the same story like for MDR?
I hope not. But yeah, there will be a lot of issues, to fix, as part of guidance document. There are a lot of works. For example, the conformity assessment, are not necessarily aligned between the AI Act and the MDR or IVDR. So it means, if it's not aligned, the notified body, may have to follow two different, processes, to be able to issue certificate of conformity to the AI system as a medical device software. So yeah, I think, again, because of the lack of guidance, because it's a new act, because for notified body, we'll see that, it's also a new job. I think, it's difficult to say now, but we may, face also additional delays, in implementing in this AI Act, because guidance are not available, because the actors, are not prepared, including notified bodies and manufacturer.
So yeah, I mean, we are maybe not learning from our previous lessons, so we are reacting again on the same way. But now it will not be only for medical devices; it will be for all industry. So as you say, industry agnostic. Okay, so what is the second challenge that you have identified?
Yeah, the second challenge is the notified body. I just mentioned that briefly, but so what is good is the AI Act permits, a single conformity assessment under the MDR or IVDR and also under the AI Act. So it means as a medical device manufacturer, you will be able to develop a single technical documentation, single declaration of conformity. You will have a single CE mark on your product, and you will be able to claim compliance with MDR, IVDR, AI Act together. However, to be able to do that, remember that was the case for MDR and IVDR, notified bodies must be designated, by their competent authorities, to do this conformity assessment. It means they need to be assessed by their competent authorities as having the expertise to assess an AI system under the AI Act. So there will be a period where they will be subject to audits, by their competent authorities, just to show that they have independence, integrity, internal competence, appropriate personnel, to conduct this conformity assessment. The personnel is key, and everyone at the manufacturer level, but also at the notified body level, will be looking for expertise, and so we'll be looking for good, personnel, to drive this AI project forward. And I think it will take time, like for the MDR and IVDR, it's not going to take place tomorrow. The problem is that if you have a single notified body, if you want to keep a single notified body for MDR, IVDR, and AI, your notified body will have to be designated under the AI Act. And that's a challenge because maybe not all of them will be willing, to transition and to be designated under the AI Act. We know that not all of them will be designated at the same time as well. So if you have a notified body which is MDR designated but not AI designated, you will face an issue because, the notified body will not be able to issue certificate of conformity for your product. It means you may have to work with two notified bodies at the same time, or you may have to switch notified body to ensure that you can have only one conformity assessment for MDR and the AI Act. Yeah, so that's a big challenge.
I suppose here we can say that maybe the big notified bodies will maybe overcome this challenge and find some resources to then have the possibility to be designated for both. But maybe smaller notified bodies will not have this possibility and cannot help you on that. And the one of the issue that I can find was if we look again at the MDR and IVDR, was for notified bodies to find the resources, to find the auditors that are knowledgeable on artificial intelligence for doing that. So artificial intelligence is kind of a new topic, if I can say. So it's not like something that was existing since many years, or it was existing, if I can say, since many years, but publicly now it's really becoming a new topic. So do you think, from what you maybe heard, do you think that there is enough people that are knowledgeable on AI and that can become then auditors and then can help notified bodies to be designated? And those AI people normally are all, if I can say, hired by the industry to do the AI activities. So is there like a competition now between notified bodies and industry to hire the right people to do these things?
Yeah, I think it's a fair question to ask. I don't know exactly, the market here, but these people will be on very high demand. I think, already they are, but there will be more and more. So notified body will need these people, manufacturers will need these skilled employees, The AI Act is also creating, the AI office, AI board, a lot of consultants, will be working also with these different entities, so very high demand. When you see, for example, the number of notified bodies in certain jurisdictions for MDR, IVDR, you wonder, how they will be all, getting, their team ready, for the AI Act. Of course, not all notified body will specialize in medical device software and AI medical device software. It's already the case. Scope of designation is not always covering medical device software, but for those covering it, there will be a fierce, challenge, to recruit, skilled people in this area.
Yeah, I think we talked about that a long time ago, but when we started to talk about notified bodies also, we said at a certain point that maybe it would be interesting to have some notified bodies that are specialized in some areas. So maybe having a notified body specialized in software and maybe also AI and not in any other thing, just software and doing only that, only that, only that. And this can be reassuring, if I can say, for manufacturers that develop software because they will have somebody in front of them that is software specialist. So if it is a normal software or AI software or whatever software, then they will be having specialists instead of trying to go to different notified bodies for that. So this idea of having dedicated notified bodies for specialties, like having a hospital that is specialized on this or a doctor that is specialized on that, can be also an idea for giving some confidence to manufacturers. But it's not, I mean, for the moment, it's not really the rule of all notified bodies. Any other challenges from your side?
Yeah, I just want to mention two other points, on the notified body. So we mentioned, the recruitment,
Yeah.
which is one thing. There will be also this problem of capacity of notified bodies to deal with applications by manufacturers, of software, hardware, including, AI systems. Because, yeah, they could have the personnel, but maybe not the personnel to deal with hundreds or thousands of applications, at the same time. So we have that, and we have also the cost. We talk a lot about the cost of conformity assessment, which has raised significantly under the MDR and IVDR. Well, the AI Act, will also have, its consequences, on the cost of conformity assessment, because at the top of the MDR, IVDR regular assessment, there will be the AI Act assessment as well. So it will definitely add, on the budget of manufacturers, to be CE mark in Europe. And so with that, Monir, again, I think the last challenge, I will mention is innovation. AI, is software, using AI, AI in general, it's part of innovation. It's the world in which we live currently. We have a big problem in Europe with innovation at the moment, because the rules are very complicated. The time to market, is long because the conformity assessment, take a lot of time, 18, 24 months, still. The AI Act application will not help, to attract innovation, on the European market. And I think that's the main challenge, because if the product are not coming on the EU market, physicians will not be able to use these new technologies, and patients will not benefit, from these innovative, devices. So again, innovation is at the heart, of the challenges.
And as you've said, and as we said before, this field is changing so fast that maybe today you have your software with AI that is developed. You try to put it on the market, and maybe it will arrive on the market 1 year after or 2 years after, but the technology will have changed, or the AI will have evolved, and there will maybe competitors that will have already moved to the next generation, etc., where you are still stuck on this thing that was developed 1 year ago. So these are mainly the problem of the software industry that will happen, is the fact that you'll be maybe outdated when you will be on the market, because other competitors maybe will have already moved to the next generation. Or maybe, as you said, maybe we will be outdated in Europe, but you'll have some facility to sell in other countries, and then to be able to put the latest version, if I can say, of your software in the other country, but you still are stuck with the generation 1 of it in Europe.
Right. Yeah, and we know that currently there are discussions, to attract innovation again on the EU market, for the medical device industry. I think it will be important to integrate also, the solutions, which will be put in the table, to integrate the AI Act into the discussion. Because something that could work, to attract innovation under the MDR may not work under the AI Act. So we need, to harmonize the rules, on these two pieces of legislation.
So just maybe your opinion on that. So do you think that because of the AI Act, we can have some manufacturers that decide to not go on the market for Europe and go outside of Europe and say it's too complicated, too expensive, too much time, too much effort, etc. So if we try to go to Europe, it's like, yeah, if I can say, we'll maybe not fail. So let's go directly to another country, maybe US. I don't know if US is easier for them, but US or Canada or wherever, where they can sell this device maybe quicker with the cost will be less, the budget would be lower than Europe, etc. So is this something that you think that manufacturers or software manufacturers will be starting to think about?
Absolutely, yeah. And actually, when I talk to my clients, I'm always, talking about the company strategy, and I think there are three options. Either, you focus on other market and you wait for the AI Act, and related guidance to build up. A lot of manufacturers have done that for the MDR and IVDR. Or you are an early adopter of the AI Act, so you comply immediately, and you prepare for it. That's the recommendation, I'm giving to all my clients, it's always better. Or some people may want to do that is to prioritize the CE marking of AI system before the AI Act requirements, are fully applicable.
Okay.
Because if you do that, the conformity assessment by your notified body will not necessarily take into consideration all these additional requirements. So there are three strategies here.
Okay, so it's something that, as you said, people should be thinking of now. So it's not something that they will have to look later. So any major or main recommendation from your side on this?
Yeah, so recommendation number one, conduct a gap assessment between the MDR or IVDR and the AI Act. You want to understand what are the additional requirements you need to comply with, under the AI Act, And so once you have identified, those extra requirements, for example, on data governance, you can adapt your technical documentation. Take clean risk management files, for example, you can also start recruiting, skilled, employees if you don't have them. Second, you need to talk to your notified body, to understand whether they are willing to transition to the AI Act, to be designated under the AI Act, and whether they're already taking steps. Because if you are developing AI software as medical device, I think you want to understand quickly if your current notified body will be able to assess your product, in the future. If it's not the case, again, it's strategic decision you need to take. Do we stay with that notified body, knowing that they will get, designation, in the near future, or do we switch to another notified body? Another point is I think, we discussed guidance, Monia, earlier. Guidances, are still not developed. They will be in development, in the coming months. And I think it's very important, to try to influence, as much as possible, the development of those guidance. So to do that, you need to participate to industry group, to be member of industry association, at the national or EU level, and to make your point and your concerns known. Again, if the Commission is not aware of what could be an issue for the medical device industry with the AI Act, the guidance will not be produced, to address the concern.
No, I think it's a good point, and I hope everybody will be following them. But yeah, so AI Act will be something that people need to have on focus. So it's why we are making also this episode today, that people are really trying to understand what's happening, that they are, I mean, it's also what I have done before on EU MDR, try to help people to understand EU MDR, to alert them, please do it now, do it now, do it now. So yeah, it's something that we are trying really to do. And so again, we are asking you to act now and not wait. Just an information also for people. So we are also planning a conference in Strasbourg, France, in October 1st about the AI Act. So we will call it AI Act Summit. I will put the link again on the show notes, so for people maybe to join us. So the idea here is also to educate again people on AI Act, also networking. So we'll have a lot of people there that will be joining. I will try to attract also some notified bodies to then discuss those points and provide some challenges. Some manufacturers also to talk about the challenge they had about AI. Some consultants about the standards, etc., and yeah, discussing about all that mainly. So this is something that I hope with this episode, with those events that will happen, will help you to be on compliance, because mainly this is the objective, for you to be in compliance with the AI Act. And one of the hidden objective also is that not everyone is moving out of Europe, also not being afraid of AI Act and try to act quickly so that it will be in place, because yeah, we need that also for our patients in Europe and not just for patients outside of Europe for that. Fabien, so how can you help the audience maybe about also all this discussion here?
Yeah, so currently we are helping, a number of clients understanding whether the AI Act is applicable, to their product. That's the first thing. We can help also with the gap assessment that I mentioned, and then to update the technical documentation, the procedures. And we have very good insight also on what's going on at the EU level, in the industry association level. So that's something we can do. We can try to build argument to try to influence, the process, at the guidance level. We can contact, competent authorities. And that's a day-to-day job for us. Medical device plus AI, is a key topic, in addition to the privacy, cybersecurity consideration, because it's another topic, Monir, but, AI, software means, privacy means cybersecurity threats. So there are a lot of excellent topics to be covered, and we can help on all of them.
Exactly. So maybe another subject for another episode of the podcast. Okay, so anyway, I will put all the details of Fabien on the show notes. So if you want to contact him directly, the LinkedIn page, the website of also his company, so Hogan Lovells. And then if you have also some questions, don't hesitate to go to the YouTube channel or to the LinkedIn page where we'll be placing this episode. And if you have some questions, please ask them directly also there. We'll try to help you to answer that. And if you have some comments also, maybe you have some elements that you want to disclose to the people. So don't hesitate to put that also on the comments of the video and let us know about that. Okay, so Fabien, it was really a pleasure. Thanks again for all your expertise and all the information you provided. And I hope it will be helpful for everybody. So thanks very much, and I wish you a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.